Yes. So the question that I'd like to ask you about Shivante is, um, what, what is she like as a basketball player and as a teammate? And do you have like a most memorable story on or off the court about her that you can share?
Z is like my big sister. Like blood could not make us any closer. So I don't even know how to describe her, but on the basketball court, she's a dog, and I mean that in the best way. She plays with a chip on her shoulder. She goes hard. She's intense. She's aggressive. She wants to win. She's very competitive. She brings a sense of leadership. She's very vocal. She's just like one of those tough players that, she's been through everything. She's had to fight to get to where she is, and she plays with that. As you can tell, this is her how many years in the league? She's been doing this. She's always solidified a spot. So that's my dog for life. I love her to death. So any memorable moment, I couldn't even tell you. It's too many, but she's like my big sis. We played, one season in New York together, our first season, and then we played this year overseas together, and that's when we really got close. But she's just been my dog, my road dog, my mentor, just a little bit of everything. But I appreciate everything she's done. Just a great human, a great person, love her to death.
That's great. I think my colleague will appreciate that. So to follow up a little bit, tonight is the Pride game. And after listening to the panel with Jazz and Sammy, I wanted to get your perspective on how you think the W's relationship to Pride and its LGBTQIA fans has maybe changed since you were drafted in 2015, or just what you've noticed.
I'm very proud of this league. I think we're the only league, or one of the only leagues that actually celebrates Pride. It's been obviously a hot button issue around America, around the world. So I think for us to embrace that, the players in this league, the fan base, a lot of people can relate to this. And I think we do a great job of just being inclusive. We are at the forefront of all social activism, whether it's, race, sexuality, gender, all that stuff. And I think it's just shows who we are as people because we are so inclusive. We do a lot of this social injustice stuff, and I think that's kind of what makes it better. And so, we've changed over time, my 6 years in the league, and it's just gotten stronger, it's gotten better. And I think we're, just starting out, and hopefully other leagues will follow and be more inclusive. But this is who we are, this is what our league is. I don't want to say we're only this, but it's a big part of us as people, and I think that's the only thing to do is just embrace it and just, let people see who we are.
And the final one for me, Walt mentioned on Tuesday that he felt like, you were still adjusting back to the system, which makes sense because you were in Europe. So I want to know, how has the Liberty coaching staff been helping you readjust to this system?
They've been great. It's been a tough situation, especially, coming late from overseas and then having to leave again in the middle when I just started to get, feeling a little flow. It's been tough, but the coaches are in my corner. They're always telling us, we're here to work when you can work. It was tough because as soon as I got back, they were still on the West Coast, so I couldn't get in the gym with them. But they're always there to answer any questions, to watch film, to do any extra workouts. So it's just one thing, just being around the team more and get more practices. It'll be a lot better. Just like I said, it's been tough being in and out of the States, really. But we're getting there one day at a time, and just right now focusing on what I can control and just doing my job when I'm asked.
Thanks so much, Kia, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Jeff Magliocchetti.
Kia, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Welcome back to New York. So I'm not sure how much you've gotten to see of the 4-game road trip, how much film you got to see, how in depth you've gotten. But looking back, what did you think of the way the team played during this road trip, and what can you add as we enter these middle stages of the season?
So it was tough to watch all of the games because it's at like 3 or 4 in the morning. So I was trying to get some sleep, but from what I did catch, especially in the Phoenix and the LA game, we had a lot of fight. And I think that was one thing that we were kind of missing for Spurs in the Vegas game, is just that we kind of fell flat. And the one thing that I know that I can bring is obviously defense and rebounding, try to not let bigs go off. That's one thing that I know, or at least I try to do. And I just think that, as a team, we got to play with more of a sense of urgency, with a chip on our shoulder. We're not really playing like a team that has something to prove, and we have a lot to prove. Last year was the worst season in WNBA history, only 2 wins. And we don't want to go back to that. So we have to, it's not going to be easy. Every team is a great team. So the sense of urgency, the want, the will to fight. And I think that's what we can definitely bring to every game, at least, the effort wise. And I think that was one thing that was kind of lacking. So I know personally, just when I get in there, have great defense, rebound, disrupt their plays, do things that I can control, and hopefully that can spark a fire. And then, I think good defense leads to great offense.
Coming back to that, you mentioned, how much different this has been from the bubble season, how much this team has been. I know there's a lot of different moving parts in this now, but from your perspective, what has been the biggest difference from last year to this one, and how have you guys been able to build on that win total?
For the players that were in the bubble with New York to this year, I think we understand the concepts better. We understand the coaching staff better. We understand the vision. Last year was a change completely. So we were kind of all very, very new. So this year, obviously, we brought in some great talented players that fit the system perfectly, which is a big key. But also as far as the players, like we now fully understand what Walt and the coaching staff wants to do. It's way easier to buy in, to be part of it, to want to see the vision. Because last year, we had great players on the team, but they didn't necessarily fit the system right. So it was tough to see like, is this gonna work? We're losing all these games. But now that we see we have the right players, we had more time with the staff to fully understand. I think that's kind of the key, because you have 12 players who are bought in, who want to win, who believe in the system. I think that's what makes it a lot better.
Appreciate your time and insight, Kia. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Miles Early.
Hi, Kia. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You've been really racking up the frequent flyer miles this season, and
Yes.
how has that been an adjustment for you in terms of finding your fit on the team? Because I feel like it's a lot of stop and start for you in particular, and not being around some of these players every day, and you see some people get closer, I feel like every time you come back, there's probably a new thing going on that you have to catch up with. So how do you stay in a rhythm, and not just with the coaches, but with your teammates as well?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Like I said, coming to the season late and then leaving in the middle, just when I got my feet wet and started getting to a flow of things. So it is tough. But, as far as off the court stuff, we have a million group chats. So all the little funny jokes and stuff, I'm still, pretty good. In terms of on the court, it is tough, but that's just going to come with practice. So once we get more practices, more shoot-arounds, more workout sessions, more film, it'll all come back. But like I said, it's just hard to, jump back in and be, 1,000% gelled with the team when I haven't been here. So it's just going to take a few days, some time with the team, some practices to get a feel for each other again, because, WNBA style is way different from a European style. So it's kind of been a little bit of a struggle trying to balance the two.
Thanks so much. Good luck with that. And hopefully you guys get some practice time soon and not games every other day.
Yes, me too. Thank you.
Raphael Haynes.
Hey, Kia, Raphael Haynes with the 3-point conversion. And just to piggyback off of that, as far as a leadership role, because you're one of the vets on the team. So when you're, like you said, like he said, leaving and coming back and you're not there with the team during the full season, is it hard to come in and really voice not necessarily your opinion, but I guess give your outlook on what needs to be done and just your experience? Is it tough to do that with the players because you're not there each and every day?
I would say yes and no. I've never been a super vocal person on any team I played, as far as like addressing as a group. But anytime I see something, I'll go up to so-and-so individually. That's kind of more my style. Just say what I notice and then take it from there. So it is tough because I don't know what else they have been hearing, throughout the time that I have been gone. But if I notice anything, I don't hesitate to go like, hey, don't forget, we got to show more here. Or don't forget to be in help more, whatever it is, just anything I see. But I think that's what makes a team great is when you have players that, when you see something, you just say it. It's not personal. They don't take offense to it. They just, take the criticism, the critique, and then go on. And, my teammates do the same thing for me. It doesn't matter if, you're 11 years in or you're a rookie, people are going to see different things that you might not see. So I think that's what makes us a great team too, is because everyone is open and willing to listen and to learn.
And the fact that you aren't as vocal like you know, as most people might want you to be. Is that something you would like to work on, or is that something that Walt has come to you and say, hey, you're a veteran, can you help us with that? Or are you just like, look, this is not me?
No, there's instances where I will be. That's what it is. But right now we have two really vocal leaders in Benijah and Sammy. So I think you can't overwhelm everyone. If you have 6 people trying to address the team at all times, it's a lot. So I think you have to pick and choose when to go. And then if I need to step up more, I'm sure the staff will let me know, or the other players will let me know. But I think right now I'm good with my little side comments and just things that I see. I think that's kind of what we need, because you can't have too many cooks in the kitchen. Let's be real.
Brian Heyman.
Kia, how did you think Sabrina looked the other night, health-wise, moving, her play, and how important for team success is it to get her healthy and rolling again?
Yeah, I know it's been a struggle for her. I know it's been tough mentally, but she's Sabrina. She's a fighter. She's doing so much rehab and treatment. I think she's feeling a lot better. You have to ask her personally. I'm not inside her head, but she's a little bit in the same boat as me, just being in and out. So I think once she starts getting a feel for it more, a little more reps, she's going to be perfectly fine. And we're always in her corner. She's a great player, a great competitor, so she's not going to let this slow her down.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kia. Next up, we have Didi Redridge.
Thank you.
Asking me. Can they hear me, right?
Jackie Powell. Yep, they can hear you.
Oh shit.
Yes, Didi, we can hear you. Thanks for being here. So first, I want to know if you could talk to us a little bit about the moment you had on Tuesday, where you made a cut to the basket. You didn't quite get the bunny in, but then Sabrina found you again, and then you were able to make that layup the second time. How is a rookie, or a bunch of sequences like that important? And what did that teach you?
It's like to start with the first question, it's just amazing that Sab even has that much trust in me, because she could have easily overlooked me since I missed her first one. But secondly, as a rookie, it's just being able to literally move on quickly, because the game moves so fast at this level, and being able to kind of just flush out plays that don't go your way and get better and perform to your capability that you can on the next play.
Brilliant. I really appreciate that. So you've discussed with us how you love to learn. I love that. And in honor of the Pride themed night tonight, I'm just curious as to, who are the people who have taught you the most about the LGBTQIA community, and how do you want to continue learning about the history and how you can do your best to support?
Definitely my teammates and the W. I think they do a good job showcasing LGBTQ and everything about it. So I'm just excited that it's being under the spotlight that it's under. I'm in this league, and that it's being brought to everybody's attention. And I hope that I can keep learning about it as I'm playing in the W this year.
Wonderful. Final one from me. So I know that the All-Star campaign has been very Sabrina and Lainey focused, which is obviously understandable. But I'm curious, with Sammy shooting 45% from 3 and leading you guys in rebounding, I believe, why do you think Liberty fans should be considering voting for Sammy as well?
I definitely think Sammy is more than capable of being an all-star. And I think the whole team knows that as well. She's a great player. She's kind of like our glue player. She does all the little things that no one wants to do, gets on the floor, plays defense full court, does things like that. But that's our whole team, our whole starting 5, and our people off the bench. We have a good team and all all-star caliber. So I really hope Sammy gets to go to the all-star as well as Sav, as well as B, and if anybody else goes. So I'm just hoping to see a lot of New York Liberty.
Thanks so much, Dee Dee, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Jeff Magliochetti.
Dee Dee, good morning. Thank you for joining us. We have a bit of a larger sample size under our belts right now. So what have been your impressions of not only the on-court game in the W thus far in terms of what's been the biggest adjustment, but what have been your impressions of the New York area? Because one of the biggest things you said coming in was you were really excited to play on a team that was back playing in New York City proper. So what sort of impact has the return to within city limits had on both you and this team?
The team, well, my first question, the biggest adjustment for me on the court is definitely speed and strength. I think those are two things I'm kind of working on a lot on my own, just trying to keep up, get quicker and get stronger off the court. And then with New York, I love it. It's super fast. I'm walking everywhere. I'm not really doing anything, no driving, not paying for gas or anything. So everything's good off the court. So New York is amazing. Everything I imagine it be. I mean, when I first got here, it was a little too fast, but I'm catching up. I'm getting to know it a little bit more. But other than that, it's everything I imagined it.
Yeah, the way gas prices look, you're better off not driving at this point. But
For sure.
Working on the reserve, I think we've discussed with you a couple times now about the impact that the relationship that you and Beck Allen have built. And this has been sort of a renaissance for Beck over the past few games, a great showcase for her, really upping her 6th Woman of the Year candidacy. So what sort of an impact has Beck had on you, and what's the biggest skill on the court that you've taken away so far? Because looks like the off-court relationship has been terrific, but what's the biggest lesson she's given you on the court so far?
I think off court plays a big deal on the court as well. As soon as she sees me, I'm the type, I kind of stay in the gym, and she's always picking me up because I'll get down on myself where I feel like things aren't correlating as fast as I want them to. And she's just always reassuring me that as a rookie, that's going to happen. You might not play your first, second, third year, but when that 4th year comes, just be ready. And she's good about telling me that. And on the court, it's great watching her as well as B and Sammy and Sav and learning from them and learning what they do and their tendencies and how they're able to, kind of play off screens or play defense like Beck, how she's able to get all the deflections because we're dang near the same height. So I'm just literally learning from her and learning from my vets basically and what to do and what not to do.
Appreciate your time and insight, Dee Dee. Thank you for joining us.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hey, Dee Dee. By my count, I think this is the 3rd time that you guys have had these home and home or these back-to-back sets against the same team. Because at first it was the Fever and then LA and now the Sky. How is it different in preparing for that, in having a scout that you can use for 2 games in a row, but also have some game tape and some game experience? And is it easier to prep for another game, or is that kind of more stressful, especially coming off a loss like this time and feeling like you need to work even harder to kind of even up that score?
Yes, it makes it easier because you're not studying a whole completely new team and playing them in a day. But no, because it does put a little more pressure on you to not make the same mistakes you did last game, So, because if you're doing the same thing twice, you're going insane at this point. So, and then you're getting yelled at by your coaches. So, I think that's the only thing that makes it a little harder is now it's more pressure on you to not do the same thing you did before. And then, firstly, easier because I literally can watch the same video twice, and maybe it's less stress on my coaches too because now they don't have to go and do another scouting report in a day.
Thank you. And to just follow up on that, what are some of the mistakes from Tuesday as a team that you guys are most focused on trying to fix ahead of tonight? And I know a lot of it was just poor luck with that shooting and maybe tired legs from being on a cross-country flight. But in terms of what you have seen, what are the things that need to be cleaned up for tonight?
Definitely, like you said, getting some rest. Secondly, turnovers and transition defense. I think that's been our downfall this whole year, I think. So just being able to watch something on film, hear them say it, and translate it to the court. I think that's what we're going to have to do this game because transition defense killed us. So just being able to communicate, talk to each other, and pick each other up on the defensive end.
Thanks so much. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Raphael Haynes.
Hey, Didi. Raphael Haynes with the 3-point conversion. You know, you talked about not wanting to make the same mistakes over and over and focusing on that. Has your approach changed as far as to the game when now you're saying, okay, I don't want to make the same mistakes, but yet still, I do want to get better offensively. I want to learn this, I want to learn that. Like, how has your approach changed since you started this season to now?
Nothing different. I've always been kind of a go-getter. The only thing that's kind of changed is I don't even want to say me being in the gym because I was always kind of a gym rat, but just how much I'm in the gym, and being in the gym is not the only thing that's going to get you better. I think I learned that this year. You got to watch film. You got to go in the weight room. I hate the weight room, but I have to be in the weight room and I have to watch film and just little things like that. I think it's a different approach. It's that in college, all you have to do is kind of put extra work in. Get some ball handling, get on the dribble tag and shoot a little bit. But here you need to learn your opponents. You need to learn plays. You need to do a lot of different things, a lot of the little things that kind of were taken for granted in college. So I think it's the only thing.
And then with the minutes fluctuating, we saw a few games ago that your minutes, you had extended minutes, but with fluctuating, does that make it hard for you to get in that groove?
No, because it's to be expected. I just know that whenever my name is called, I want to give my all and I want to do my best to be on the court because I'm on there for a reason. They believe in me. So I'm just hoping that I can give them something to believe in and keep making them believers.
All right, and the last question I have, you always give great answers. So got to ask you, what has been your welcome to the WNBA moment so far?
I think it was all over Twitter. I think you can answer that question for yourself. Welcome to the league moment was done by none, the great Skylar Diggins. So, I mean, go her.
Thank you.
Thank you, Didi, and thank you all for joining. We'll send the recording shortly.